Hi, I'm Dan Curtis with Nomad Capitalist, and today we will be talking to blockchain expert and bad boy of crypto, Joel Comm. Welcome, Joel.
Hey, thanks, Dan. I don't know how bad I am, but my show is bad. So there's that.
You got to have something going for you. You know, I'm going to start out with the question that has been on everybody's mind over the last couple of weeks, crypto. A lot has happened in the space. I saw it today. I want to say it was around 16.5, I want to say.
hmm Yeah.
Um, so it's down a good 20% over the last couple of weeks.
And you're talking about Bitcoin specifically. The
I
price of
am talking
Bitcoin
about.
is hovering between 16.1, 16.5 here, and it's kind of going, where am I going?
Yes, that's correct. I was going to ask you what's next. What's coming down the pike for crypto and for Bitcoin specifically?
Well, crypto goes up and crypto goes down. The prices are not a good indicator of what's happening in the blockchain and crypto world. What we can tell you is that every day, nonstop, day after day, for years now, we continue getting news that governments, organizations, financial institutions, corporations, small businesses are all looking for ways to adopt blockchain and or crypto technology into what they're doing. It's been relentless. It continues to grow. Interest continues to grow. This is an avalanche that's coming. There is no doubt at all that we are moving towards a blockchain centric world as far as information, transfer of information, smart contracts, all this is going. What we're seeing right now is the flushing out of bad actors. And that happens anytime you've got new technology and there's money attached to it, right? The bad actors are going to come in, the scammers are going to try to get their foot in the door and take as much money, sell as much snake oil, sell as many carpets as they can before they hit the road. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about with carpets, look up carpetbaggers. There's your homework. And so what we're seeing right now is just a flushing out of bad actors so that the stage that's being set for blockchain can truly prosper. And the biggest battle that we're going to see is the battle for decentralization. It's not so much about the prices, and we know where adoption is going. The question is who is going to control the blockchain? And that's what we need to be concerned about, not the price.
So you consider, Sam Friedman, FTX, and now I guess BlockFi. You consider them just to be bad actors who need to be flushed out of the system so that the system can run correctly.
Absolutely. The industry is getting an enema right now, which is much needed. The hype was overhyped. The bull market was strong, and we have a bunch of projects and tokens that really didn't have proof that there was value. I mean, it's crazy when you've got cryptocurrencies, so many of them at peak in the bull market, there was over 100 of them that had valuations in the billions. We're talking about cryptocurrencies, a lot of them that don't even have utility or mainstream usage yet. And so that's just insane. That's just euphoria, people looking to buy in, NFTs being way overpriced. That said, they're not going away, and blockchain isn't going away. We're just kind of consolidating right now and preparing for the next bull market, which I do believe is going to happen. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not licensed to give financial advice. I always tell everybody, go do your own damn research. That's what we've done on Bad Crypto Podcast for 5.5 years now. But we love this space. We love analyzing it. We love seeing the players in it. And I really love seeing the bad guys come down. And if that means that my portfolio is going to suffer as a result, it's going to be worth it in the long haul.
So you can hold on to your G Wagon just a couple more months at least.
Yeah, look, when it comes to Bitcoin, remember, there's only 21 million ever. That's it. They're not the Federal Reserve. You can't print more Bitcoin. It's baked into the code. And out of that 21 million Bitcoin, about 4 million are lost forever. They're in wallets that were mining way back at the beginning. People have lost the keys. My co-host Travis Wright, he lost 50 Bitcoin in a wallet. It's somewhere in a dump in Kansas City. He mined it early on. He turned on the faucet, got some Bitcoin, and now they're gone. So if 4 million of them are gone forever, we're seeing more and more wallets that are holding strong with 8 billion people in the world. Only 15 million Bitcoin that would actually be in circulation as of now from the total supply. do the math. If you can get your hands on one Bitcoin, just one, it now $16,500, and this thing goes where many believe it's going to go, 100,000, quarter million, half a million, ultimately $1 million, you're going to be in a minority of people.
Well, it's going to be good news. Your words will be good news to a lot of our clients. I mean, understandably, we have some people who follow us and people who are clients of ours who have financed an entire lifestyle, based on what they've done in the Bitcoin and crypto world. They're understandably nervous, I would imagine, right now. But
I would imagine too. I mean, look, we've all seen our portfolios. I'm not a trader. I don't look for timing the ups and the downs. That's way too much stress. I like to keep my hair. I don't mind it turning gray, but I want to keep it. And part of living, the nomad capitalist life that your listeners do is having less stress, right? Is being able to carpe
one of them.
diem, seize the day, enjoy life. And when you're trading, boy, that can really put a lot of stress on you. So if you believe in the technology, if you believe in the projects, then holding for the long term, set it and forget it, walk away and come back. Now, that doesn't mean we're guaranteed success, right? But you have to put your faith in the projects that you believe in. It's very possible the battle that we're fighting against the governments, the world governments, the New World Order, the World Economic Forum, the baddies, the truly evil people in this scenario, that they try to stifle innovation and growth and the liberty that comes from blockchain. Central bank digital currencies could very well be on their way, and that is scary. That right there is some Black Mirror level stuff where they can see and track every single transaction you do with the digital Fed dollar. And if they don't like what you're spending it on, if they don't like what you're posting on social media, just like China's social credit score system, they can start limiting what you can do, who you can be with, where you can go, what you can buy, what you can own. That's scary. And so all the more reason that Bitcoin is important and privacy coins are important.
Well, and you had touched on it on an earlier answer. Who does the collapse of systems like FTX and now BlockFi, does that lead to government more likely being able to step in and say, yeah, we want to regulate this from a federal level? Does
You
that give
know,
them almost ammunition to do so?
it does. And here's the problem is they should have been setting guidance a long time ago. And Gary Gensler has been sitting on his hands while Celsius was collapsing, right? And while Three Arrows was collapsing, not giving any guidance at all. I believe that they are going to use this to create the kind of regulation that strips people of their freedom and their liberty. Whereas if they had done it before, it would have been guidance that could have protected consumers, which is what the government is supposed to do, right? They're supposed to create guidance that protects people, not controls people. And so it could be, you could make the case that they wanted this to happen to make crypto the bad guy. Crypto's not the bad guy. The bad guys are the bad guys, the bad actors, the thieves. They're the bad guys. This is not rocket science, but in the minds of the public, the perception, the narrative that the media is spewing out is, oh, Sam Bankman-Fried, had such high lofty dreams, and oh, poor him, that it didn't come to pass, and now he's not going to be able to donate to the charities. Now the guy's a criminal. If this were a Republican, that the money was being siphoned to Republicans, he would have been in cuffs immediately. The money trail that we can track, that there is some weird janky stuff going on with the money that that was taken, that is somehow funneled to the Democrat Party largely, right? There's some Republicans that got, I think Mitch McConnell was one, but largely it was to the Democrat Party. And there is some serious corruption. It's tied in with Ukrainian funds. And I'm not smart enough to be able to dig down and tell you exactly what happened. But what I'm reading is very suspicious at the least. And if this offends anybody, or you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, I'm a conspiracy realist. There is some janky shit going on.
It's why we're talking to you. And I will be very honest, it's above my pay grade as well. But
And I did not
I read the
suicide
same things you read.
myself, just to be clear. I'm happy with my life. So
Understand. You know, so I see some regulation, maybe not total regulation, but I see some regulation as being almost an inevitability.
yes.
Uh, Tell me, in your mind, are there countries that are still crypto friendly? And are there countries that are doing anything in a positive manner to enforce some kind of regulation as opposed to a more draconian type of situation that you might see in the US?
Well, President Bukele of, I think it's pronounced Bukele, of El Salvador is a courageous man. He went all in, making Bitcoin a official currency of El Salvador, so people can use their fiat currency, or they can use Bitcoin to buy and sell. And of course, they're down, but right now from their purchase. But he has doubled down, and El Salvador is buying a Bitcoin every day. I mean, they are going all in. And my belief, from what I can tell, is that El Salvador is going to become the richest country in Central America. That they are going to become what Venezuela once was, until Venezuela became co-opted by socialism and communism, and is now, the most struggling country in South America, or at least one of the most struggling countries, which is such a shame. So El Salvador, I think you can buy citizenship in El Salvador for 3 Bitcoin. That's it, and you have a El Salvador passport. Malta is very friendly. Singapore is friendly-ish. Portugal, of course, many people, your listeners, have already taken advantage of being there in Portugal. They're more crypto friendly. There's a few others, but they don't come to mind at the moment.
Now you base yourself in Puerto Rico, correct?
Yep. Yeah, myself and my friend and co-host Travis Wright, we moved. I moved from Denver, got out of that. I love the city, but boy, it's just getting bluer and bluer, and some crazy. It's like whatever contagion has infected Boulder seems to be spreading throughout northern Colorado. And so I wanted to get out of there, moved to Puerto Rico, and Travis was in Kansas City, Missouri. Go Chiefs! I have to say that, both for him and my girlfriend is also a Chiefs fan. So there you
I'm
go.
a season ticket holder
right now. There you go. You are?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, you and Travis, you might bump into him at a game, because he does fly home for those. But we both, looked at what was going on. Have friends that live here in Puerto Rico. My good friend John Lee Dumas of the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast has been here now for 6 years or so, and was telling us about the benefits of moving here. And now, we're both fully Act 60, both the investor and the export services portion, and it is wonderful to legally be able to keep the money you make. Of course, I pay no capital gains tax on gains or that are taking place while here during my residency on the island. And as an export service, I pay 4% business tax. And then my profits are paid out as dividends, which is investment income, which is a capital gain. So there's a lot of people here on Puerto Rico that are enjoying the benefits. A lot of like-minded people as well.
I was going to say it sounds like kind of a combination of social/lifestyle reasons, and then some financial reasons as well.
Very much so. I mean, we love our community here. I live in Palmas del Mar, which is on the southeast side of the island, about an hour away from San Juan. Travis is up on the north side of the island, and I call it permanent summer camp, because we're always going to play pickleball, or going over to have dinner at somebody's house, or some other get together or gathering. There's never a shortage of good-hearted people to hang out with, and there's that similar mindset of, hey, you know what, we don't have to be subject to the rules that most people allow themselves to be subject to. There are other ways to live your life, and of course, Nomad Capitalist people understand that completely, which is why they listen and follow to your stuff. And so we're part of that tribe.
You consider yourself a libertarian, or you lean farther right than that, or?
No, I think, libertarian. I'm not an anarchist by any stretch. I would say, as a young man in college, I did what all young men in college most do. You're a Democrat, because otherwise, what is it? You have no heart. And then I awoke when after Reagan, and I learned about Michael Dukakis and ended up going, maybe Bush is a better candidate. And then, of course, going in business for myself, you just, if you're going to be a capitalist, you have to understand that there's one party that leans stronger towards supporting your goals and ambitions. But they're kind of a uniparty now. The Republicans are really not that much better than the Democrats. It's two sides of the same coin, and it doesn't leave us with many options. And so, I've gotten less political, forward facing. We do address some of these issues on the Bad Crypto podcast, which pisses off others, that we talk about the COVID lockdowns, and we talk about the World Economic Forum and these so-called conspiracies that all end up being proven true. You think people would wake up and go, they said this, it sounded like conspiracy, and then it happened. And they said this and it sounded like conspiracy, but then it happened. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are conspiracies, but maybe they're real as well. And so I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm going to put a period right there.
Yeah, it makes me think I need to relocate you up to Area 51 for a while, just to see what you
It
say.
was aliens. It had to be aliens. I actually have a friend that truly believes that, it's all aliens. And anytime something weird goes on, I look at him and go, aliens? And he's like, yep.
Well, give him our number. Maybe we'll have him on the show. I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. You are what I would call a Twitter power user. I mean, you've got quite a following on Twitter. What's your take on Elon?
So let me say this about Twitter. I wrote the book on Twitter, actually, and I say that literally because back in 2008, I wrote the first mass market book called Twitter Power, how to grow your business one tweet at a time. And it sold a lot of copies. We did a second edition, a third edition. I got a lot of followers. Because of that, I got my account verified very early. And then somewhere over the last 5 years, I became shadow banned. Now, the shadow ban tools say I'm not, but when you look at the fact that I've got 650,000 followers and just tiny scraps of engagement, I'm shadow banned. I'm hoping that Elon undoes that. I keep reaching out to him to say, hey, come on, something's weird here. I think him stepping in, look, I don't worship any people. And the dude's done some things that are probably janky that I wouldn't approve of. But the fact that he is coming in and standing up for free speech, all you have to do is look at how politicians and the media and the left is reacting to him calling for free speech, for them to reveal their true colors. That's it. It's game over. They've shown their hand. They are anti-free speech. Even the spokesperson for the so-called president, the resident in chief, so to speak, is saying we're keeping an eye on Twitter. Who the hell are you to keep an eye on a private company saying we're going to allow free speech? I think the guy's got balls to steal, and I think that Tim Cook would be picking a fight with the wrong person if
I think they're already in it.
he deplatformed Twitter. This would be one of the most colossal, epic fails of all time. You, as Apple, you own a huge share of the mobile market. It's Apple and Android, meaning Google owns this other huge share. And you're going to goad this guy with billions of dollars who will make his own phone. And people are going to leave Apple in droves, even if it takes a 10% bite out of their market share. That's an epic fail. I think it would do worse than that. And Elon's calling their bluff. I think reinstating the president, who never did anything ban-worthy in the first place, and these other conservative voices, waiting for him to reinstate Doctors McCullough and Malone, who spoke out. We're talking about decorated, awarded, esteemed physicians.
You think Trump's going to come back? You think he's
well, he's back. Oh, do I think he's going to come back to Twitter?
Yes. Truth, right?
Yes, he's declared he's running for president. Yeah, how do you not come back to the platform that has this massive audience. Truth is an echo chamber, right?
Well,
And I don't even
he
go
loses
over there.
money, right?
What's that?
He loses money if he leaves truth, though, right?
That's possible, but if he really wants to help America, I mean, look, I feel like the guy had his chance. I voted for him. People in my life called me a Nazi. I'm Jewish, spoiler alert, and called me every name in the book. I never called them anything, and I saved screenshots. I have the receipts from people that treated me horribly for voting for Trump instead of that evil she devil Hillary Clinton, American mobster. And so they would probably treat me the same now. If he is the candidate, I'll hold my nose and I'll vote for him because I know a third party vote isn't going to win. So I'm more practical in my approach to this. Some people are like, well, I'm gonna do the right thing and the honorable thing, and that is to vote for a third party. They don't have a chance of winning. Not now, not in this climate. It's red and blue, and that's it. And so if you really want to have any hope of change, look, he had a chance. I think he blew it. I think he could have used his bully pulpit more and followed through. He kind of wimped out. I don't know the guy. So I don't know his true motivation. Maybe it is money. Maybe it is power. What kind of narcissist do you have to be to even consider running, for the highest position in the land? I don't care who they are. They're all sociopaths. And it's amazing to me. It just reminds me, of some religious teaching that, God said to the Jews, do you really want a king? You sure you want a king? Because, it's much easier. Oh, yeah, we want a king. Well, things didn't go well once they had a ruler, and they rarely do because people getting into the equation tend to mess things up because we're human.
Well, and
but yes, he'll be back is the answer to your question. He will be back at some point. There will be no reason. I think if he was smart, not sure he is, if he had smart advisors, he would post on Truth. He would take that Truth post and then duplicate it onto Twitter with a link back to Truth to try to grow Truth on the back of Twitter. And I'm sure that Elon would be fine with that. But yeah, he'll be back.
Maybe they'll listen. We'll see. But going back to voting, I understand you're looking at options yourself in terms of citizenships, in terms of some passport options. What is guiding that decision?
I think Plan B is always a good idea. Years ago, I came across Simon Black and Sovereign Man before I came across you guys, and I think both incredible resources. And I remember reading about Plan B. What if things do go completely belly up in the United States? So we are, when you look at what's happened in other countries where the socialists have taken over and dictators take over, it does not take long for a nation to fall and for people to become subjects, to be serfs. And it's not a bad idea to have a plan B. And so, yes, I'm almost through the process of having a second citizenship in another country that will not only give me an escape hatch, but will provide visa-free travel to Europe and to Russia if I want to go to the motherland. Actually, my roots go back to Ukraine, and I'm supporting both the Ukrainian people and the Russian people. I don't think any of us know what's really happening there. The other part of Plan B is that as a U.S. citizen, we have some of the most stringent rules and regulations against using various crypto exchanges. You can't be a Binance.com user if you're a U.S. citizen. How crazy is that? You can't invest in certain coin offerings if you're a U.S. citizen. And so having this second passport will allow me to use that passport and that address so that I can participate in the world economies more freely.
Well, obviously, we encourage everybody to at least explore that option. So,
sure.
Joel, tell me where can we find you?
So there's two podcasts that I co-host. One is the Bad Crypto Podcast, available on all your podcast players, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and so on and so on. And the other show is, we've been doing that about 5.5 years, had about 10 million downloads. The other podcast we started 2.5 years ago called The Nifty Show, and I co-host that with my son, who goes by Riles. And it's all about Web3, so NFTs, play and earn gaming, metaverse. We cover all those subjects. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter and see if you can spot me, whether or not my account is shadow banned at Joel Comm. And yes, Comm is my real last name. And I've been in the internet business since 1995. So God has a great sense of humor.
Well, I'm glad he does. It has been delightful and illuminating. Speaking with somebody who has informed and yet strong opinions. So I greatly appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Dan.
We'll talk again soon. Thank you, Joel.